Welcome back everyone to Socks Out Racing as we kick off our fall series with the neoTrans Am at Road America. This was an exciting race with cool weather as it was 75 degrees with a southwest wind at 7 miles an hour. The race took place on the 20th September 2015 and our top qualifier was newcomer Samuel Harris with a 2:14.432 and strength of field for the race was quite nice with a 1860. So with all the cars on grid and ready to roll with a rolling start, it was very exciting. This is our first rolling start series for 2015. It's nice to be able to do this right on iRacing, and it was very exciting as everybody came up the front straight to start this almost historic series. We brought things back to pony car format, NASCAR chassis, and classic trunk-mounted wings, or spoilers more correctly. As we get into turn one, this is always a sketchy spot, even with a warm-up lap. As you can see, everybody trying to keep the car one piece through turn one. Had a couple of drivers mess up the braking, did chain reaction. Thankfully, everybody got through there with minimal issue. By the time we got through turn three, everything settles out a bit. As you can see, the field is spreading out. Everybody's starting to figure out what their rhythm is, how they want to plan this race. The race is 100 kilometers in length, as every race will be for this series. So a lot of planning for these drivers on how they're going to manage their tires for the long haul. By the time we get to lap 3, we got our first big play. Newcomer Jean-Marc Rune, I think I said that right, is challenging Steve Burbage as we're coming down through turn 4, down the second large straight here at Road America. And you can see they ran too wide through turn 3, they're coming up turn 5, too wide. 17's a little late on the brakes, the 920 slides underneath. Still too wide, heading up to turn 6 under the Corvette bridge. And Jean-Marc slides past Burbage there. Just one fantastic play, sticking it underneath and not overly abusing the tires. By the time we hit lap 4, the battle for first has kind of moved its way away from the rest of the field. You've got our 3 cars here kind of leading the pack, and then a gap, and then you saw 4th back there with no real competition at this point. So it'd be interesting to see. It's interesting to see how different drivers approach this length of a race. So by lap 6, we have our first lead change, and it was through the carousels, all we could tell. Harris was blinking, so we weren't quite sure what happened, but Cockrell was able to snatch first place away somewhere between the carousel and the back straight. As you see there, Harris was blinking a little bit. Meanwhile, further back in the pack, this is lap 7, you can just see, even though there's a battle up front, there's still battles to be had further back. We've got a battle for 9th, and it looks like a battle for 11th, I think that is, with Mulder and newcomer Justin Davis. So battling throughout the field, and this went on throughout the race. We see Mark Letourneau in the 8 returning and really putting some pressure on that 17. It looked like Burbage just had a hard time getting the car sorted out early on. By the time lap 9, Cockrell ends up messing up Canada corner a little bit, runs wide, and Harris takes to the outside as they go to the second last corner. And Harris just gets a better drive out of Canada corner and takes back the lead. Newcomer Daniel Thompson is looking to also make a move, but ends up running wide on the last corner and allows Stefan Spontic, I apologize if I said that wrong, to snatch 3rd. When we get up to lap 11, Cockrell's been trying to get back first position, and as you saw there, coming through Canada again, he's just not able to use the brakes to close the gap and make a move. One thing about these cars, they have the most amount of torque or the greatest amount of torque on these cars is actually produced by the brakes. So when you depend on the brakes for those late turn maneuvers, it wears out the front tires, and by lap 12 at the beginning, you see Cockrell getting too hard on the brakes, too late, and it just pushes wide. On lap 14, the battle for third continues, and this is the end of lap 13 as we're going on to lap 14. And Cockrell's falling back a bit off pace, and Thompson has reeled him in. So as they go look into turn 1, can Thompson hold him off? And the answer is no. Thompson falls prey to the same thing Cockrell fell prey to a few laps earlier. Worn out front tires from battling all race. As we got down to lap 15, just one more lap to go after, before this race is over. And Cockrell is still right there. Sponting is holding in second, and Harris is still in first. And Harris is off track coming out of 6th. Sponting takes back, or actually takes first position away. And Cockrell's looking at making a move on the 20 as well. Heading towards the carousel. Cockrell gets in front of Harris, but sideways. Harris looking to make that position back. He's held on to the lead for a fair amount of this race. His teammate's currently leading. Looking for that spot to pass. Harris trying to make something stick as they come up to the kink. Can he pull it off? No! Cockrell is able to hold off Harris as we go through the kink and down the back straightaway. This is a very fast section of track. The cars hit excess of 170 miles an hour before having to jam on the brakes. Canada corner's been weak for Cockrell. How will it fare here? He holds it on track, which is good, but he's lost a lot of momentum, and the 20 is reeling him in. Harris looks not quite close enough to make a move. Last corner, getting the car sideways at the entry, sliding it through the last corner. These cars are just about out of traction, while his teammate, who's taking it easy on the tires all race, has a lot more grip relatively to his teammate. So the 71 car you see just starting to pull away. So on the last lap, we have a battle for second on our hands with Cockrell and Harris. What's going to happen in turn 1? Oh, Harris is off a little bit, and Cockrell gets a little tap, pushes him just a tad bit off track, which is going to put enough ground behind him that Cockrell will not have another chance to make a pass with the tires as worn as they are. So to wrap things up, we had a lot of action that went on this race. So putting it all in a shorter video based on the feedback we got back from last series was very challenging. But as you can see here at the race results, a lot of newcomers this series, and our fastest returning driver is actually Craig Williams from Team Bushfink Racing, and finished a very nice 5th place. We got a couple other guys from that team that will be joining us hopefully for race 2, and we'll see how that shakes things up with Blackadder Motorsport that took 1st and 2nd there. As we look further back through the field, we see 6th place is Cliff Eben, who actually races Trans Am in the TA class in real life. So it's really cool to have a pro driver with us. We look forward to running with him through the series as well. Speaking of race 2, it will be at Lime Rock on September 27th. We'll have Saturday practice. It opens up at 12 o'clock Eastern Daylight Savings Time. That's 1600 GMT. And the race and qualifying lobby will open at 3 o'clock Eastern or 1900 GMT. Also remember that we do have a live onboard broadcast for each race from the number 360 car. So we look forward to seeing you then at Lime Rock. So until next time, keep it between the lines.